Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us on the NABLL Weekly Update. We've got Tony Gray, our co-host, as I think it's going to be a lot of us, and we've got Marc Stanton, Space Lax, some of the coolest jerseys in the sport, hands down. I don't care what anybody says. What's going on, Marc?
Not too much. Appreciate you having me on the show. Do want to give you a shout out, Greg. We appreciate everything you're doing out here with the Can-Am and everything. It's huge for this area. The live streaming and all that was much needed in this sport, especially in this area.
It's crazy. There's so much talent in the Can-Am. So you were fortunate enough to play in the Can-Am. I've seen you play for a couple of teams, but like we were just talking about it beforehand, Tony, you never played in Can-Am, right? Because you were an Akwesasne guy. You were over on the other side.
Yeah, I pretty much played for like the Toronto, Brooklyn Redmen. Actually, are those? That's what I'm dated myself. Well, Toronto Beaches, Brooklyn Redmen. There was some Akwesasne teams, and more the Ontario, I guess, area.
Yeah, staying up that way a little bit. So, Marc, what was the first Can-Am team, and was that your first box experience, like where you were on the floor, was in Can-Am? Because that's a crazy place to learn.
As an adult, yes. As a kid, in middle school, we played in a 3-on-3 tournament at the Bandits Arena. It was called the Kilgore Cup, and that was actually my first box experience. I seen teams which would be Salamanca, which is Allegheny area. They had an Iroquois team at the time we played. Newtown was there. It was all the little minor programs that we see nowadays with them. So that was my first experience. Then as adult, my first team I played with was Buffalo Creek. Played with them for about 3 seasons. Tore my ACL. Well, ruptured my ACL. Took the year off. Obviously, I had to surgery, all that, rehabbing. Then
not easy as an adult.
No, not at all. So I got back into it, played probably another season with Buck Creek. Then I moved on. Played Allegheny. I played for Newtown. I played for Tuskegee. And Tuskegee was the last team I played with the Can-Am. So now I'm doing the NABLL, and we're happy to be that. We got our own team in. It's huge.
Yeah, no, that is huge. So, I mean, you've run Space Lax, which how long has that been you've been a tournament team for quite a while, and then you host a tournament out there as well.
Yes, the Buffalo Box Invitational. It just was something me and my core group of guys, we didn't want to travel to Philadelphia and Delaware during the COVID anymore. We're like, we need to get something back at home. So we're like, all right, well, let's figure this out, get this going, and let's see if we can do this thing. So the first year we had about, I would say, the 8 teams, and that which was nice. So we did all that, and it just grew more and more over the years, and it sucks because this year I'm not even going to be hosting a tournament. We'll most likely be in playoffs. We're hoping, knock on wood, we'd love to be in playoffs then. But there are talks. Pittsburgh contacted me today. They're like, we'd like to host a tournament in your honor still, and I'm like, yeah. And that's not a bad idea. That's something in the area now I'm thinking about.
In the area, how far is Pittsburgh?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. In the area.
Pittsburgh's about 4.5 hours away from us.
Yeah, only box lacrosse players would say, something in the area because I could drive it in 4 hours.
I don't know if he wants to post it where I had it in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Can you can I jump in there? Can you talk about your logo design? Is there any story behind that? Or I mean, I agree. I love your uniforms, and I love the buffalo and the space in it. But is there any hidden meaning behind it, or is it story?
Honestly, there's really not too much meaning behind it. It's just my friend, like our core group of guys. Without them, this stuff wouldn't run without them. But It, it's not even an original logo, to be honest. We had a spaceman with balloons floating in the sky. That was actually our first original logo.
Okay.
So we ended up getting into the LaxNet, and we wanted to go with a different logo. So the guys over at what's it called? Uncommon Fit. They actually designed this logo for us.
Okay.
It was pretty. They literally to the T was exactly what we were looking for. So like that's our logo, and we're sticking with it. Never change it again.
Well,
But
appreciate it. It is a very cool logo. I like the color design, the space inside the buffalo is really
Yeah,
cool.
there's a lot of stuff inside
Yeah.
the Buffalo. It's one of those jerseys that you look at, and every time you look at it, seems like you notice something else in there.
Yeah.
It's yeah, there's a lot to take in. Speaking of one of your originals, you got Jet Ski. I hope you were talking about that guy because he's one of those guys I look forward to. Oh, there he is. One of those guys we look forward to seeing. Like, there's so many guys that I don't get to see very often, but he's one of the guys that we look forward to being able to see guys like that when we go to these tournaments, or like when we know we're seeing Space Lax. Usually, we can expect to see him as well. Absolute hilarious. Sometimes he does get a little carried away in the games, I will say, but from my perspective, it's amazing because it's nothing but views and amusement on my end.
Is he our color commentary for the night?
He could be.
yeah, he's a color commentator. He's not much of a video guy, so he'll poke his head in here and there.
Unless I got my goalie mask on, you know.
He's got to have that Dragon Ball Z mask on, then he can fit in the character.
I love it. It is. So I mean, that's such a hard thing though for a lot of these teams is being able to find a goalie. So I mean, having that as part of your core group, that is huge. You guys started obviously the tournament took off faster than you could have expected. I mean, you guys get a ton of talent on the team. It's a big but small box lacrosse community. So you actually grew up south of Buffalo, and now you're over, on the east side. So it's really not that far of a distance from where you started, right?
No, not at all. It's about 15-minute ride at most.
And you said you went to the same high school Connor Fields played at?
No, I grew up actually. It's actually a private school.
Ah,
Time in high school. Yeah, there's a lot of good people. Christian Watts. He's actually been there. There's a lot of talent that actually went to that school.
that's somebody I'm just getting familiar with now, man, and he is a blast to watch. He's a big kid too.
Oh, he's spectacular. That young man, and then I try to get him on my team every time. I know him. I played with his brother, Sam. So I always try to get him because he's a talented young man. But, I understand. He's from where he comes from, You're going to be playing with a lot of guys he's playing in those tournaments with. So
Yeah, I mean
one of these days, I'm going to get him in a jersey.
Yeah. I mean, especially at one of these tournaments. Those tournament teams are where it really gets fun, and you get guys from all over the place. It's kind of hard to not take a spot on that Allegheny roster right now. I mean, how much of the Can-Am have you been watching? It has gotten crazy. Like those top three, you got the 3-4 teams just really battling it out. Six Nations. I can't wait to see what Grand River's up to.
Right. I know they're trying to get stronger day by day.
Yeah, it's been impressive. I mean, the having all of this, it makes some of the Can-Am guys a little jealous, I tell you, because you guys having the two divisions, you can play league, non-league games, but everybody in your division is within, what are you guys, probably the longest trip's an hour and a half? Two, maybe?
Yeah, to Geneva. Geneva's our furthest drive. Everything else is no more than 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, you guys are
from
spoiled.
Not that bad of a drive.
But I drive 15, 20 minutes to my home arena, so it's really not.
Yeah, no, you guys are quite spoiled. You've got a ton of guys. So Gill A to East Aurora. I'm making my Gill A debut this weekend. They're playing. I think Friday they're playing the Spirits, and Saturday they're playing the Serpents. I might have that backwards, but either way,
Okay, yeah.
the Lakers.
Actually, yeah, she was telling me that you're going to be there this weekend, actually.
We're going to record it. We're not going to be able to upload it because anybody who's never been to Gill A, there's not a lot of service. But, I mean, Tonawanda, you got to give Tonawanda props. Those guys got a Starlink so we could send it out.
That's
They have a Starlink.
They
Oh, nice.
literally put in Starlink so Blue Squatch can stream their games. It's amazing.
That
that makes sense why you can live stream it.
Yeah, that's the only reason, Tano.
that's
was
gonna have
trying
to
to
be
figure
your
out
new
how you did it.
contract, Greg.
I was trying everything. I was running cables over to houses and stuff. I was like, hey, if I was like talking to everybody that lives right there. I was like, I've got some really long cables. Can I like plug something in? But yeah, then they were like, how about Starlink? And I was like, are you serious? And yeah, we showed up one day. It was there. Didn't work great the first location, so they moved it over and put it right underneath. Yeah, so it's mounted right under where that little press box platform is now.
So
Yeah.
Gilly needs to take some notes.
Yeah. They Gil A needs to get on it. They need to put the Starlink out there. Although there's not a lot of streaming that's happening in Gil A. I've never been able to get in with the Newtown guys to catch it. Hopefully that's changing here pretty soon, especially for the playoffs because it's getting crazy. But what is the biggest thing? So you've been on the administrative side of things. When it comes to joining the NABLL, what was it like for you? As the GM trying to step into it. What is that role like joining a league like this, especially with so many undecideds? It must have been a little crazy. Buffalo Creek was in. Nobody really knew. Then all of a sudden, like you said, next thing you know, you look on the website and there they are.
It was actually, I'm not really different transition from running a tournament. Just because I know the recruiting process of everything, getting everyone together, kind of, getting all that stuff out. I'm not, by all means, it's no walk in the park. I can tell you that.
You're just a little
trying
more
to think
familiar with it.
Yes, just because I've already been running the organization and then a whole tournament with on top of that, it definitely gave me a little edge. I would imagine on that. I'm thankful for that, but I didn't feel like it was nothing crazy. We're just happy to be here. We really are, and we were getting ready to work right away as soon as we found out we got accepted in.
Yeah, you were definitely one of the new teams that was like right on board early on, asking a lot of questions, figuring out all of the specifics so that you could just hit the ground running, right? And so you got 3 games under your belt, and you guys aren't acting like a first year team. You're acting like kind of like a veteran team, which is kind of cool to come in to a league like this and have that impression already. So kudos to you and your minions or staff behind you that are helping you,
Oh
puppets that are helping you move all the pieces.
You put the
Oh,
Pokeball
yeah.
helmet on him and he's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's definitely it's a group effort. I'm thankful for everyone part of the team.
So all your home games, you guys are playing East Aurora. Sorry to cut you off there, but that's
Yeah.
where you guys are doing everything out of.
Yeah, right out of East Aurora. I figured not moving around, keep it there. Kind of ties in with our logo as well, kind of the roar on there. So it all kind of worked out.
So if anybody doesn't know, that's also like one of the most amazing rinks to play at because you get the outdoor feel, but it's covered for the rain. That's
It's got
huge.
So is it just the tops on there, and then do they have like they could drop the sides on like tarps for it? Like we
No.
have a facility like that.
So it's long enough so we don't need that.
Okay.
So no rain is. Well, actually, the first year I ran the tournament, there was water leaking through. There was no turf down. It was a fun process. I'll tell you that.
Uh,
Learning curve.
I totally forgot about that. Thinking about that now. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what? The
that's
first
a-
one you had water coming in on the cement, which is definitely a no-go.
yeah.
No, which they had the turf at the time. They just didn't have workers to lay it down. So the first 2 years, the first 2 years we did have it on some.
I believe the first year, second year.
Okay, so all right. So I'll take your word for it. That's for
I'm an old boomer, so I'm preference to cement. I pretty much lived my whole career on cement. So turf, if you have turf, I consider you spoiled. So that's the.
We are sure spoiled. But I do have to say the best cement I've ever played on is at the ACC. Allegheny has a beautiful, like that's almost like a basketball court. Grip it's nice. It's beautiful there.
That's all they
But
do, though. They don't ever put ice in it anymore either, right?
no,
Yeah.
not at all.
So it's just for box lacrosse. They keep it nice and cleaned up. I seen they get out there, wipe off the sweat quick. So that does make sense. What do you actually? I'm kind of curious to hear both of your perspectives. So you're playing on cement and then playing on turf. How hard is that for you to adjust? But it's got to be way harder for him to adjust. Jet ski as a goalie, like the way that thing bounces, has got to be nuts.
So we got lucky. We actually had we ended up having a practice at the Gillet the week we played the Lakers last week. It was unfortunate. Our home rink had a music festival there the weekend, so they weren't able to lay down the turf again. Good friends with the guy who runs the arena. He's like, I don't think you're going to be able to have practice that Monday. You might want to look somewhere else. Like you said, we are very blessed. We have many opportunities to have other places to go, not far away. So we got in the Gillet real quick. One of my players, he actually worked for them, so he got us in. Not even a matter of 10 minutes, we were in at the Gillet. So we got acclimated to the concrete, I could say, especially with some of the players. I don't know if some of my players actually even played on cement before, at least box on cement. So I'm sure it was a different experience for them. So it was nice to have that ability to go there and practice there, have the feel of that, you know, the lights, you know, you get used to it. You try to figure it out. You know, it's good to have a practice there before a game. So we're blessed. We're definitely blessed to be able to go there whenever.
I'll say as a goalie, I honestly prefer the turf just because I feel like I can control the rebounds a little bit better. Bounce shots are easier to read, and you don't slide around as much if you're going down. I feel on the concrete sometimes you lose control, and the nets don't stay in place as well, so you lose kind of where you're at. But that's me personally. Other goalies are different, but I personally like the turf.
Well, even the shot selection on concrete, right? When you shoot, it sometimes picks up speed. It kind of
Oh yeah,
changes the pace. You think you're there, or you're there too early, right? And all of a sudden, that ball is just like, hey, where did that speed come from? Didn't look like that coming out of the release of the stick, right?
with all the talent in the area, a lot of these kids could get some snap on it right off the floor. So yeah, it makes a difference what you're playing on. I personally like turf. I'll play on anything, but you know it's different it's different when you switch from turf to concrete for sure.
Well, I will tell you, you definitely get really good at angles when when you have to play on concrete because even though the ball kind of moves a lot on turf, like concrete, that ball just like seems to never stop at all, and it just hits every board, and you're like a mathematician. You're like calculating. You're like, all right, instead of running towards that board because that ball is going to be gone, I need to get to this spot like after three walls or something like that. So it's kind of crazy, but it's fun at the same time. Again, like I love the concrete, so it is hard on your knees and stuff, but
Yeah,
it
you
also
can keep that concrete. Even just thinking about people running on concrete hurts me to watch.
but I will tell you though, because of the slide, you have less ACL injuries with it, right? Like all my three ACL injuries have all been on turf, and they've been non-contact. It's just my cleat, it grabbed it, and it just put too much force when I tried to kind of cut on it, and that all three situations were like that.
Yeah, that's true. The way it
Yeah.
grabs.
Yeah.
That's where I feel it's different for goalies and players. You know, I'm more stepping. You guys are running, and there could be like a fold in the turf, and someone could just catch it and go down and tear their knee up. So
Yeah.
I told my ACL.
it's different whatever position you're playing for sure.
Hey, Mark, would you mind sharing just like so our league, one of the unique things about our league is that every region kind of picks their own season, their own schedule, as long as there's like a start date and end date, but in the middle, it's like your region gets to decide how you want to do it. And just for those people listening here, can you just kind of talk about like what's your schedule for your region? Are you guys playing one game a night? Are they weekdays, weekends? Like what's like the normal thing for your region?
Well, what we're doing is it's not every week. We're doing what our schedule is. We have 2 games a month. Uh,
You guys
I
kind of
mean,
do
we
the
would
home
love.
and home setup too, though, is I guess because like Tony, the way they play is everybody plays at one arena, so like they all go there for that. Some teams will go and travel, but you guys just play like one home game. Each game's an event kind of thing. Is the
Yes,
way I
yes.
Yeah.
understand it, right? Yeah, each one is its own entity.
And are you
So
guys
you guys
playing on
run.
weekends or weekdays? What's kind of like your preferred,
I mean,
or
we
is
would
it kind
prefer
of all over the place?
our home games are all preferred on Saturdays, but we are playing on. We just had a game on Thursday, which is not out of the ordinary because I mean I played games in a Can-Am on Thursdays, Wednesdays, and stuff like that. But we would like to keep it on the weekend. But I'm sure because we're the only adult box team playing out of East Aurora, and with the other teams, I'm sure they have limited space with other teams playing there. So I'm sure that's why they have to have it on a Thursday.
Oh, gotcha.
Where Buff Creek, we have a game on Sunday at a whole different arena. So they're playing out of Riverworks and the Cattaraugus Community Center. Our game's going to be against them at the CCC on a Sunday. So
That Riverworks is a wicked cool facility. Have you ever been there, Tony?
I have not.
You've been there probably more than me, Mark. Tell everybody a little bit. You guys are spoiled, like you said, all the way around. So, like, where they play the Winter Classic was built basically for an NHL style, like that outdoor feel where you really feel like you're outside, but you're not affected by the rain and the snow. Riverworks a pretty similar setup as far as staying dry, except for on steroids.
yeah, Riverworks is nice. That's where I actually started playing with Buff Creek was the first year Riverworks opened.
Oh, that's the
It
one.
was,
There's two facilities, right? There's two boxes next to
Yeah,
each
right
other,
next to each other.
but they're
yes,
not
yes.
the same size. Yeah.
They're
Sorry, I didn't
different.
mean to cut you
Yeah,
off.
one smaller than the other. No, no, no worries.
Yeah, because I think we were looking at that as a possible facility for nationals at one point,
That
but it
would
was.
be an amazing facility for nationals if you could ever
But
get
I
that
think
one.
some of the issues was like the equity with that, right? Being able to, have the different floors, and I can't remember was one turf and one non-turf, or the I can't remember. There was
One's
something
got a
else that
sport court,
besides the
right?
size.
They could put turf in. They have put turf in there
I believe
before.
they have turf, but they don't. They rarely put it down. Which that's one of the places I feel like should have turf because there's a concrete plant directly like to the left of it. So
No dust gets on
that
that.
was the first year problem where there was dust on the floor and sliding around, and
It was literally a slip and slide.
you would fall randomly.
But there's like a restaurant there, a bar and stuff too, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot of other. It looks really beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
facility.
They got a whole dock there and everything.
There's a Ferris wheel.
I do have to say, East Aurora, they just bought. They're about to put 2 more rinks out there in the next couple of years. So
Oh.
we're gonna be lucky enough to have a full-time facility of box. Then, obviously in the winter they'll have the 2 ice rinks. But
So you'll
they'll
have your
have
own region in a couple years.
yes,
Just
yeah.
go from each one.
That's the
So
plan.
what? So you guys, so you have the team now. You guys are pretty much like a travel team too, right? Like you go to a lot of tournaments, right? And do you have like an off season league too in the area?
Yeah,
Or
there's an off-season league. I don't actually put our team. We don't put our team in those leagues, just because they usually get filled up real quick, and they usually they're all the Seneca teams, usually Six Nation teams, the nation teams there. So we'll hop on with. We're lucky enough to have friends from all over, so we pretty much can hop in on pretty much majority any team. But we have used our jerseys for the leagues and stuff. The league is krill. Krill. They do a non-contact first, then after that season's over they do a full contact. which is pretty much just getting the rust off for the season before the season starts.
And that's all box, right?
All box.
Okay, nice.
No more field. We don't play much field out this.
They can keep all that field stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tony, I guess I would say, what advice would you, I guess, give to these new teams in the new regions? Because not everybody's going to be as lucky as these guys where an entire division pops up. I mean, that's kind of insane. Other than the first year when you were organizing teams, I mean, how do you guys kind of like advise teams when they get a hold of you for things like that?
Well, like we have the infrastructure. We send like information, like all the nuts and bolts to kind of get started. We send a sample spreadsheet, all that. But like Mark said, he's pretty much done it with tournaments. So all that stuff was probably just a glance over. Like I got that I got all that stuff. It was probably like a 2-second check off, right? So in that respect, they were good to go, right? The one thing we're trying to do right now is we said this last week. We're getting teams interested, but not everything's like on the East Coast where there's good facilities and there's just a lot of players playing box, right? So, for example, we may get a team out of California, but they don't have 3 other teams or 2 other teams to even play, right? So, we're trying to come up with ways like. That's the reason why I asked Mark, like, what do they do in the off season? Like, we were thinking about somehow trying to form some kind of affiliation or work with organizations to help them start a house league box and kind of get it built up so that they can branch out into like a full league. Like that was what I was joking with Mark, right? He's got the team there and he's just set all the facilities there. If he did his own house league, he does his own tournaments, it gets it big enough. And it's like, all right, Mark would just be like, are you going to that team? You're going to that team. You go to the 4 teams and here's our region, right? So that's like kind of our long range vision to kind of do it, because it's, we realize it's usually facilities and how far people are away from each other that's kind of limited our growth a little bit.
Yeah, it does seem. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I completely understand. So I got to ask you though. First game, you guys play the Lakers. You beat them in an absolute nail biter. The Buffalo Creek game looks like you lose in a nail biter, and then you go out to Gillette. That game wasn't nearly as close. But how do you guys feel the rest of this? What happened? That just a bad game on your guys' part, you think?
Yeah, I'm giving guys a tryout. I want to see what some guys can do.
Well, nobody wants to peak at the beginning of the season. You want to peak at the end of the season.
Exactly. You don't want to show all your cards.
I like that. You don't want to show all your cards. More importantly, though, like you said, is if you don't get guys in and out, then if something happens, you really don't know what you have. It's
Right.
it's very interesting to see the way these teams. How are you guys scheduling your playoffs? Do you guys have that set in stone yet? Are UGM's kind of hammering things out?
So I spoke with the GM for Lakers. So I'm gonna get in contact with them. I said we got to get with everyone else as well. Obviously, figure it out. We have to obviously figure that out sooner rather than later. Which I'm sure we'll do probably like first, second seed, best of 3, best of 5, something like that.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is not everybody does. Like I know the other division in the state, they just kind of do one and done. You're out. The series I think definitely makes it. It's cooler. It makes it a lot more meaningful. It's hard. Like even the 1-4. Like you always feel like a 4 can beat a 1 because really it's just one good night. So like the series does kind of even things out. What is your thoughts on that?
I think we should have a series. It's just how it's just if they want the league to be like how the senior A or the senior B, they have the series in each playoffs. It's not just one and done. Even in the first round, they got a best of 3. So it gives a team fighting chance, like you said. Any given night, if you bring it, you can end up surprising some people.
There's nothing wrong with more competitive lacrosse.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Well, I think some of the things that we see from the organizational standpoint is there's the East Coast has a lot of parity in regards to the teams, but as you go outside of the East Coast, I mean, there are some regions where you pretty much know who's going to come out of that region every year, right? And they
Yeah.
get to the point where they're like, well, we don't want to play at three
Yeah.
games with you, but we know we're going to get beat up already. Then we've even witnessed that once or twice where teams are just like, all right, we're not even going to do a playoffs. We're just, all right, you guys are going on behalf of our region, right? So,
Yeah,
but
get the season
definitely
games.
that area, knowing that, I grew up in that area, I know how competitive it is and grew up with the series standpoint. Like our region, the Mid Atlantic, we pretty much we have a new fifth team in the league, and so we made a decision that only the top four are going to make it this year, and then we're going to do the 1, 4, 2, 3. But then our finals is the best of three, and so that's how we do it.
You got Jimmy Chadwick playing for you though. Sorry to interrupt, but I was going
No.
through your roster.
Cut
Ah,
now over here.
hang on, there it is. Jimmy.
Fresh off the press today.
Fresh off the. That's I hadn't seen it before. That's why I was all of a sudden. That's why I had to say it. I was like, hang on. I try to keep tabs on a lot of these guys just because I know so many of the guys that are playing with you. And I tell you, man, you got a pretty loaded roster there. And Yimmy he was one of my first podcasts actually. Getting to talk with that guy. He's a blast. He's a character. He's good for the sport. His dad Butch is amazing. Whenever you get a chance to talk to Butch, he's a gem. I cannot wait. Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited now for your playoffs.
It's like can't show all my cards.
Can't show all your. I haven't seen him yet. Well, there was quite a few names I recognized from there. With the Can-Am getting as I guess skilled and as top heavy as it has been lately, there's a lot of guys looking for roster spots. It's gotten tough. Tuscarora's out as well. So I mean, when you get down to these final, because what does Can-Am got to have it down to 20, 22, right at the end?
25.
25. That's
Yeah.
that's a tough roster to make, man. When you're looking, each team's got 3 contracted pros, at least another 5 to 10 guys that could be on a practice roster, make a team like borderline. It yeah, you guys got to have some pretty competitive games out there. That first game must have been pretty intense at playing the Lakers on. I can't wait to see what they look like too, because that's 2 tournament teams I've seen where tournament teams are a lot different than season teams. Like what do these regular season teams look like?
They're definitely different from the tournament teams. I'll tell you that. The Lakers definitely got to be one of the best teams. I would say in the league, as for sure.
Putting them right up there.
Oh, that without a doubt, especially on paper, their talent wise, they're good. They got a lot of young guys that are very, very talented young men there that are gonna shock some people.
The other thing is though too, the way the Nationals is, it's really set up for young guys. I mean, they've run like you're running. How many games does it end up being, Tony?
6 to 7 if you get all the way to the end.
Yeah, so you make it to the finals. That's 7 games. It's it's crazy. Oh boy, I do recognize some names on there. I don't want to keep reading through that roster though.
Don't give
Talking with
away
you right
all
now.
his cards.
It's all right. It's all right. It's on. It's for public record as
It's,
it is.
oh my goodness, it's amazing. That's going to be some great playoffs when it comes to it. But I will say, what is the one thing you noticed that you did not expect as a GM? So I mean, you're in a different position because you've run tournaments. You knew about water. You know about ice packs, trainers. You know about a lot of that stuff. But what is something that took you by surprise? Is it maybe the distance of the schedule, or I guess I don't know what else could kind of throw a curveball to you.
More or less figuring the schedules out with the GMs,
Not being in charge of it, because when it's your tournament, you're ultimately in charge. Now you're dealing with multiple facilities, multiple people.
Right, different weeks, different days, looking at what times slots we have open at each store, what fits in away, what fits in home, how we should, strategically figure it out. That was definitely, say, the most challenging. That was obviously a lot different from doing the tournament because you only have to schedule once that whole weekend, and the schedule is it. Where you have to kind of strategically figure out for when you're in a league, because it's not 1 weekend. It's a couple months process
Yeah.
throughout the league.
Are you guys charging admission to your games, or is it open? Like it
Free.
varies. Like different people do
Some
different
people are
things.
like, so they asked me, somebody like, oh, are you charging? I'm like, it would be hard to charge people because it's such an open facility.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
There's no way to really gate it off either.
I know they had the World Games, U18 World Games last year there. They closed it off with these little dingy little gates.
That'd be a lot of extra work.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
unnecessary. I'm just come to the games, come see
Yeah.
what it's about.
How's your audience been? Have you been getting some pretty good fanfare?
Our first game, home game, we had our fans kicked out of the game. So it was it was an experience. I think that was the first time I actually seen a fan thrown out. Actually, yeah, first time I've seen a fan get thrown out in person. I mean, I've
You
seen
haven't
it
spent
before
enough
on
time in
video.
Tonawanda.
Yeah.
That's the first time you've seen it.
I've seen the fan get kicked out of there.
I've seen quite a few of them get thrown out of there. I've seen, yeah.
I'm sure it gets rowdy there.
Oh.
It is rowdy there.
It's different playing with plexiglass plexiglass between you instead of a chain link fence. That adds a whole nother. I don't even remember who said it to me now, but like ever since then, that's the only thing I can think about is getting smashed into the corner by like one of them monsters that's back there playing defense, like Stu Sundown or Nina, like Lee Abrams, just somebody smashing you up against the boards and the other team screaming in your face that you suck. Like it's just got to be pretty defeating.
Nothing's better than a clear night though, playing on
Oh,
that field.
it's cool. Yeah, it is cool. With the lights
Pretty
on,
cool.
it's pretty epic.
Oh, it's absolutely good energy.
Yeah, you guys are pretty close to it, having the outdoor, but you don't have the rain. You guys have the turf, so that is a huge advantage. What does Gillet got? It's the cement all the time, or do they run hockey?
Time. It's cement all year round.
Gotcha.
And that's where they hold the winter leagues are actually at the Crow. They'll be at the Gillet.
I'm looking to see who you got up next because you played everybody once already. No, you haven't.
We haven't played the Serpents, but we are playing a non-divisional game this weekend against
Oswego. Yeah.
They come to us.
Okay.
They look good.
Yeah, they've been a strong team.
Oswego just beat the Spirits, which is the first loss the Spirits have had in divisional league play. The Spirits in the NABLL, I believe they lost their first. They lost a preseason game, like an exhibition, to Paper City, and then other than that, it's always been in the NABLL finals. This is the first loss they've been handed. So this Oswego team's got some tricks up their sleeve.
Yes, I see. Like you said, any given night.
You get a hot goalie too that's on fire, and it's tough to beat. And I mean, they got a lot of their Oswego too. They're so young, they're fast. They can just keep running. It doesn't seem like you're going to tire them out. I mean, you guys have a pretty good mix of young guys. You guys just got some old guys that know how to play. I mean, how's your team stacking up as far as youthfulness versus age and experience?
So we do have a lot of young guys, but we have that experience mixed in there as well, which I feel that any box team needs that. You need to have those athletic, fast, quick, flashy guys. But at the end of the day, you need those guys with the IQ and experience. It just, and then when you match that all together, that's a scary team, and that's what you want. I feel.
Goodness, yes, it is a very, very scary team. This whole division. So I was just going through a bunch of the teams. Yeah, your division is stacked. Whoever makes it out of there is going to make a good run at nationals. I think Westminster better watch out this year. They might have some competition. Now, have you watched any of the Wilds games on because the NABLL game streams?
I've seen games from national games. I've seen them play.
So what are your thoughts on the Wild? They play a very non-box style. Like to win down there, they really take advantage of stretching the field. They throw super long passes. It's a very interesting style.
So I've actually played them in a tournament before in a championship game. I played with Rochester Bats. We had a good team. A lot of guys from Allegheny were playing with us. They ended up beating us in the championship. And I just remember them now, and I seen them win the nationals. And like you said, they are a fast, young, new developing team, but they make it work.
Yeah.
Somehow they're beating teams like the Spirits and what other teams?
The Nor'easters, they be. I have been very impressed.
That's a great team too.
Yeah,
The
that
Wheat
Nor'easters. Yeah, Wheat Kings. There's a lot
It
of
was
big
the Wheat
teams.
Kings. Wheat Kings came really close last year with them, but the Wild was able to pull away right in the last 4 or 5 minutes, and they got two critical goals to kind of give enough distance to win that one. But that was a really good game. That was punch for punch. But they're in my region, so we battle with them year in and year out, and so Greg's right. They play really wide, right? They kind of do that field style. They got really good shooters, so it's like if you don't respect them, they're just going to pull the trigger from farther out than most box teams do it, and they score enough where it's like, all right, well, you can't sit back, you got to come out after them, and then because they're so athletic, right, though, now there's gaps, and then they just push it. So, and they have I would say their biggest weapon is their goalie, right? Brian he's been so solid with them. He's been in every game that they play, and they're just a nucleus that they always play together. There's a group of them. There's 20 something, and they just stick together. They practice together, and
Win
they're
national championships together.
yeah,
Just,
yeah. We keep getting close to them. We've been in the finals, I think, 4 out of the 5 years with them, and we get like one goal away. But it's just um, we'll see how this year. Maybe this year will be the year we can break through. But it's I guess we definitely have bragging rights. Our Mid Atlantic region is the one that's been winning every year.
yeah, 3 years in a
Makes us
row.
feel a little better, easier to kind of lick those wounds, and like, okay, well, we got
Well,
beat
we
by
didn't make the
the
finals,
national
but yeah,
championship, right? Yeah, but so
yeah, maybe it does help a little bit getting in. But I mean, that is, yeah, I don't know, and they're the most underestimated team too. I feel like whenever you watch the ratings, although Picking Corners podcast, they at least did put them at #1 now. Me personally, any power ranking has them #1 in this league until somebody's able to
somebody
beat them.
knocks them off.
Somebody's got to knock them off. You 1 year, okay, 2 years. Start earning respect. Now you're talking dynasty talk. If they can keep it going, I'm interested to see if somebody can knock them off. But honestly, just the way they play, they don't need to use as much of their athleticism through the games. They can get away with stick skills and throwing the ball. They've got
Yeah.
it's a different style. It's almost like when you watch a Can-Am team that's only got like 7 guys on the bench, so they just leave a guy down low. They do that without actually leaving that guy. They just make you play a spread out defense. Same thing as spread out offense. It's very interesting. Now, one thing that you guys do different here, Mark, is you're playing not Can-Am rules, although Can-Am has adjusted now, so it's the same. What do you think? 3 periods, 4 quarters? What's better?
I love the 3 periods.
I do too. I like 10-minute breaks.
Right. That four quarters is definitely it's different. It's very different, especially in this area because I would say I only played in 3 periods my whole career of box. Yeah. So the 4 quarters is like, oh, we still got more. We got a lot of time still in this game.
I think it brings you into the deep waters, though. I like
does bring you into the deep waters.
We've been on the wrong end of it past 2 games, but
yeah,
we'll adjust.
Yeah.
Well, from a coaching perspective, it's as much as I loved playing the 3 periods, the 4 is definitely better for balancing out with the short bench and the long bench. Because if you don't get that right bench at 3 periods, you could be hurt, and you could lose a game just by not picking the right bench and direction, right? So with 4 quarters, at least you know that you're getting equal. You're getting 2 shorts and 2 longs, right? So in that respect, that helps. But I'm with you. I grew up playing all 3 periods, so and the 10-minute breaks are definitely nice.
Huge.
And
I think it just provides for the best lacrosse too, though, because you give guys that extra 10-minute rest. You give these coaches a couple extra minutes with them. 2 minutes is fast. Like everybody likes to think, like, it's only 2 minutes, but 2 minutes goes by quick unless you're fighting or killing a penalty, and then 2 minutes seems to drag on a little bit longer. But I mean, other than that, it's fast, and all of a sudden you turn around, everybody's back out on the floor, and it's quick. It's funny to me because at the end of the day, it's an hour. 60 minutes is 60 minutes is 60 minutes, but it's just how we break it up.
Because you don't even really get 2 minutes if you think about it. The guys come off, they're getting their water, they're all spaced out, they're kind of letting off. No pun on your team, spaced out, but they're kind of letting off a little steam for a second, mentally taking a break, and then you're trying to give them a couple pointers. Right, I learned years ago that as a coach that you kind of give no more than 2 pointers in a timeout, right? Because you could give like 20 pointers and they're not going to hear it. So you pick 1 or 2 points that are good in each of those little huddles, and that's what you work on, right? And then you just keep chipping away as you see things. So you pick the most egregious things to work on first, and then the things that are you can live with in the game, you kind of like, all right, if I can get to it, I can get to it, right? But that's kind of the strategy. But then when you get to halftime, right, then you can kind of do some X's and O's. You get a good, I would say, 4 to 6 minutes with the guys, because then they can decompress, and then they can kind of gear up.
Yeah, I like it.
We don't actually have a coach.
You guys are doing it Reggie Dunlop style. Somebody's just standing up on the bench at any point.
Everyone that I was the coach.
Everybody's staring at you.
I'm like, I'm actually injured right now. I'll be the coach for the first 2 games. We'll see how it goes. It was definitely an interesting experience. Not like something I expected. That's for sure. I'm not ready to coach yet.
The Wild don't have a coach either, so maybe you're onto something not having a coach. Maybe that's the key.
Huh.
We just think of it as we all know what to do. We've all been playing this game a long time. We come out and coach ourselves, and sometimes you got to coach yourself out of a hole, or
That's why the veterans are huge to have. They're player coaches.
Yeah. Oh, well, speaking of that, I'm obviously the coach and GM for our team, but this week we just made Isaiah Davis Allen, who played with Philadelphia, right? And he's now made him an assistant coach, although he's still going to be playing for us. But the guy has so much knowledge. He's pretty much been coaching the defense for us for 5 years now. So I was like, might as well give him a title to go along with it. He's the type of guy that doesn't need a title, but I'm excited to kind of give him that title and just. He's the voice anyway on the defensive side, but I was like, all right, let's just give him a little title so he can get a cool polo here and there.
He's a face-off guy, isn't he?
No, well, he went to Maryland. He played defense, and then with the Wings, he was a defender for them.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I played against him in some Philadelphia tournaments.
And then he played for in the PLL, he played for the Redwoods. He was a short stick defender. And then he was on the USA development teams. He went to that Laxnai with one of the USA blue or white. He was on one of those. Whatever team where that big fight went down.
Oh,
maybe you could ask Jimmy Chadwick about that.
Yeah.
So he was on that team.
He was on that team. He was on that team on that game.
I believe Jimmy Chadwick was white, right? He had the USA white jersey on.
yeah.
Because I'm just trying to picture him licking his fingers as he's staring up at the camera, and I'm like 90% sure it was the white jersey after he got punched by Nago Thompson there a couple times. That was yeah. Jimmy could get under people's skin in a way that most people can't handle.
It's kind of crazy because he's not really like that. He's more of a he's funny guy. He's funny than anything. He's not.
He can freestyle rap like
You can't be telling him that.
We're gonna make him start freestyling. No, I know what you're talking about though. When you talk to Jimmy, he's more of a funny guy. He makes everybody laugh. He's a good guy. But it is those guys that know how to get under guys' skins. Like you could see Jimmy can get the other guys angry. I mean, there's certain players that just are really good at it. Grennan's another one of those guys that does it. But I mean, Jimmy grew up playing in Tonawanda too, so I think that might be part of it. Honestly, I think that is a special Tonawanda trait that they teach through kids.
Oh man.
I can't get off the rap. Is he like Tupac style, Eminem? What's his style? What type of rap is he?
We'll just say, oh man.
Country rap?
Just a poet. You
He's
know,
just a
he was-
poet.
Just a poet.
I believe we won a tournament and we were just having a ball afterwards and just, you know, he started rapping and I was like looking to everybody. I'm like, is this really happening right now?
Is this
And
real
it
life?
was. He was surprisingly good throwing everybody's name into it and the whole weekend of lacrosse. It was fantastic.
He rapped the entire weekend, so we should do a wrap-up show with Jimmy, and we'll just make him start rapping the weekend wrap-up. I love it.
I rapped the one time, but he put the whole weekend into the rap. It was good.
No, I know.
Is
That's
there
what I
any-
said. He'll do the wrap-up show. We could do it in 2 minutes or less with Jimmy Chadwick. I love it.
Was there any alcohol consumed during this rapping?
No alcohol.
No. Oh,
We don't do alcohol.
We really are mostly an alcohol-free team for the most part. You know,
Yeah.
we try to be because it leads to problems at least during tournament. After the tournament, you do your own thing, but during tournaments and like gameplay, we try to steer away from it.
that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
And now that you moved your head, everybody really gets to see that Space Lax logo too, sitting up in the corner. Those are epic. The jerseys, the color, the scheme is just all. It is amazing. We've gone 7 minutes past our 45-minute time limit, though.
Oh,
I realize
that
we're
went
supposed to be
quick.
doing this for 45 minutes. Is what our goal is every week. And I don't think I've ever actually hit one of those time limits, so I'm not very good at that.
You need to add a little clock on there. Maybe that, you know how they do like the ESPN, they do the different topics where you just you shoot through it.
Yeah, I'm not that organized is the problem. I mean, look, I made all the highlights today. I literally went through and put all the saves and highlights together today, and then could not find where I exported that video. Is that
They're coming soon.
That's
They're
the
coming
Space Lax belt?
next one.
Oh
Is that-
yeah.
Is that like player of the game you give?
This is actually one that's in our tournament last year.
Oh, nice. So they put on your logo when you win it?
No, we just had it right on there. So whoever won the tournament was gonna get this.
Oh, okay. That's your tournament. Okay.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
supposed to go film it, but I got my hip destroyed standing in the ocean. It was terrible.
I know. Happened to be on the internet.
I was walking around on a cane for two. If the only problem with the Winter Classic is honestly there's a ladder to get up to where we have to go. If it wasn't for that ladder to get up to where we have to go, it would probably be the one. I mean, it's easily top facility. It's amazing. It's just really cool to go there. It's awesome.
Is there like a catwalk or something on top and you got to get up there?
Not even. It's just one tiny little press box with no back and a ladder that you lean up onto it that everybody will move out of the way as they're playing. And then all of a sudden you got to get your ladder back at the end so you can get back down.
That's the only bad thing about it.
He knows too because like honestly it's an amazing place. It's an amazing venue. Our view up there is awesome. But yeah, you have to set up a ladder. And I was walking with a cane. I was like, I can't get off the ladder. And I know if I go there, one of those idiots is going to try to push me up and I won't be able to get down. And
Oh, wow.
that was my
The
biggest
fan
fear.
experience- The fan experience is great with the indoor facility upstairs and all the Adirondack chairs all around. That place is
It's beautiful.
beautiful.
Eastward alone was just amazing. little
Yeah.
town there.
It's one of those places. It really is like a Tonawanda. I mean, not quite as. I mean, you don't have quite the history that Tonawanda does, but it really is a place that if you've never been there to play a game or a tournament, you want to get your team there. It's cool. It's a really sweet atmosphere where you get to be outside but not in the rain. I can't stress to you how important that is to me with electronic equipment. Like, that is amazing to not have electronic equipment in the rain. So yeah, no, I love it. It's honestly one of my top facilities that when we get excited. It's unfortunate you might not be doing the tournament this year. Maybe something else will happen, but no, we do love getting out there to East Aurora. That is an amazing thing. You guys put it on. You do a great job just rotating teams through, making sure everything goes great. The talent that is out in that tournament is insane. Like, you just see Larson Sundown, or who knows, like, you name the amount of pros that show up at these tournaments. It's nuts.
It's wild.
It really is. But again, we just rambled on for a couple more minutes. So thank you so much. Tell everybody what your social media stuff is so they can find you guys, and where do you guys have anybody recording your games, or?
Yeah, we actually have our own media team on YouTube. It's going to be SpaceLex Media. Then for the Instagram, SpaceLex, you can find us. Facebook, same as SpaceLex. That's all our social media that we're on. We were on trying to get Twitch, but we ended up getting booted out of there.
Twitch didn't work.
Just the thing, it just I didn't know what I was doing, and it was a copyright thing because the band's logo and all the logos on the thing.
Yeah, it's tough.
I learned something that day.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
There you go. You just got another subscriber onto the SpaceLax Media. So yes, your games are already up there.
Yes.
Yeah, that is sweet. That's awesome. I love when teams do that. It makes it awesome. I mean, the talent in this league. So you got to make sure you tell us any of the if you think there's one for the goal of the year, save of the year. If jet ski ends up getting one for us, but hopefully next weekend when I put them together, I can find them for the show. I have to redo all the ones that I did already if I can't find it. But if you got the additional ones,
it'll come to you.
Probably as soon as I walk out.
There is a good goal for us. I can think of right now against the Lakers last game. Jaden Jimerson falling and behind the head, falling at the end of before the end of the half. I'm pretty sure, and it was.
Greg, that's the second new team GM that has given up a goal against themselves. Remember last week too, right? The Greensboro.
Yeah,
he's a goalie, and he talked about a goal that they scored on him. It's like that was his highlight.
Yeah, he's like,
very
well,
modest. Our new teams are very modest.
Good thing it wasn't on jet ski though.
What's up, Jesse? Who else you got playing in that for you?
E. Hayes Martin.
Okay.
He's a Tuscarora boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen him before.
He plays for the Blazers in the tournament.
All right, yeah, those tournaments are pretty. It's wild. You got to get. If you end up doing one again, if anybody has never done one, get a hold of Marc too. Maybe we can guilt him into throwing one together at the end of the year or something. I don't know. But really, the East Aurora is it's an amazing place to go play if you haven't done it. So check them all out. And they've already got one more subscriber on their YouTube. Subscribe, watch it. There's so much talent going on out there. Tony at Piranha Lax, or if you're looking for him with the Golden Bears, get a hold of him. If you guys want to join the league, get a hold of the NABLL. And Tony, you got anything before we sign off?
No, let's just end it.
All right. Have a good one. We'll see everybody next week. Next week, we have the juniors guys coming on. So next week will be junior NABLL. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you then.
Take care.